Hello and welcome back to another video for Final Fantasy XIV with me, Meoni. Today we're looking at a brand new mount that you can acquire in the new Shades Triangle South Horn. Immediately upon entering the content, you'll see this major aetheryte in the base camp. You'll also find some vendors over by some tents. One of the vendors in particular is the Expedition Antiquarian, if I could say that word, and you will find on them, once you have done a little bit of story progression, so immediately this isn't accessible until you have done that, a couple of quests I think it is, until this unlocks. You'll find a series of items. There are gold pieces and silver pieces, and you'll see this on your UI eventually. You'll see that gold pieces, those are required from killing monsters and chaining monsters together, like normal monsters out in the wild, and silver pieces are required primarily from your critical engagements, sometimes 200 or more at a time, and a lot less of them, but you still get them from fates as well in the area. For example, right here, there's a fate, and a critical engagement is a blue icon on the screen as well. So that's the zone, and if we go to the silver pieces exchange other, you'll find that there's so many items that I need to do videos on, including glamour sets and things, but on the other tab, there's something I've been saving up. I would have got this a little bit earlier, but I had to spend 1,000 of my silver points on Cannoneer because it's a Cannoneer. Company, fire the cannons! But we've got the Ancient Airship Identification Key, which is what we're going to look at today. It says a thin rectangular piece of what appears to be Cermet. Placing it near your ancient warship will magically bring the vessel to life. 5,000 of these silver coins then. Just to give you a good estimate, I streamed for 10 hours yesterday, and it took me, I would imagine with breaks, it took me about 6 to 7 hours to earn about 5,000 of those silver currency. Now, considering that was day one and, you know, we didn't have everybody, you know, leveling up and stuff, and everybody was starting out, things will go a lot quicker today. There's a critical engagement, for example. That's the difference. But yeah, critical engagements, 200 or so at a time of those silver currency, and fates, quite a bit less, but still worth doing. So we're going to get this key and have a look at the mount. It is a 4-player mount. So for me, this mount appears on page 7 alongside the Arc mount and Blackjack, etc. And it says, summon your ancient warship, a magic-propelled vessel capable of bearing you and 3 companions. Discovered on the occult crescent, this ancient airship is powered not by ceruleum like modern vessels, but rather relies on magic to manipulate wind-aspected ether and generate propulsion. As this magic must be provided by passengers, it is recommended to ride in a group in order to avoid exhaustion. That's quite grim, isn't it, if you think about the ramifications of that? Just bring some low levels, sacrifice for the engine. And we've got a hidden bit of text here on the icon here, and it says, "Go as the gale wind to the wrecked airship," a quote there of Sonu Vanu. So let's go look at this. Okay, here we are in Summerford Farms. We're going to have to zoom out quite a bit because it's quite a large mount. And there she blows. Holy moly, look at that mount. With all of the whirring blades, the propellers vertically swishing and swashing around. Obviously designed, I think, to look a little bit like Bismarck, right? This is an absolutely stellar looking mount, and it's a lot bigger than I expected it to be. But to be fair, nothing on live letters ever does it justice. It is absolutely enormous. This mount is not market tradable. This is something you actually have to, you know, work for yourself, which makes me feel a lot better, honestly. It's nice with the content that there's plenty of things that are new that require effort. There are quite a few items that are market tradable in the content of Occult Crescent, but I'm very happy that there are things to work towards. And in the process of doing your relic weapons, you know, it's going to take you more than 7 hours anyway for the first stage, or at least it does at the moment. If we have a nice little zoom in then, you'll notice that the engine is whirring away there, almost like a, you know, a revolver loading bullets into a chamber. And we have a ship's wheel. And this nice wooden deck. It's cool, isn't it? It's very, very nice. Very nice. All of the swishy whooshy sounds are incredibly welcome. In terms of movement then, it's drifting as you would expect. And flight, yeah, it's not really any different, is it? Not really majorly different. But wow, how gorgeous does that look just floating through the sky? That's awesome. So yeah, ideally this is the perfect mount if you haven't got a 4-player mount already in the game, like the regalia and things like that. And obviously having a ferry to take people around, like a taxi essentially, for the new content via Cult Crescent is going to be really helpful, especially when you get some of your friends who are late to join the content or whatever, and perhaps don't have a riding map. There is a riding map, like I say, that you can also purchase to increase your mounted speed on the ground in the content, which is really cool. Yeah, it's absolutely awesome. Let's go pick up my free trial accounts and we will see what the various positions are. Okay, here's the perspective of my free trial character, and I thought this would be useful to get a good idea of what the various pinions look like whilst everyone else is at work. So the first seat then, the first pinion, is to lean on the right side of the airship, and if you have a tail, your tail will drape over the edge there. There are slight differences depending on your character's race, obviously, and height of that, so you know it's going to vary a little bit. Your mileage will vary, especially with a Lalafell, for example, but for the most part that's what the first position looks like. Position number 2 for a passenger then is on the opposite side, this time not leaning over the edge, and if you have a tail it's tucked nicely behind. You just kind of lean back there and look forward towards the driver pretty much. And finally we have seat number 3, which is probably the most precarious position you could ever sit on this mount. The third passenger sits between the massive impeller pylons on the back there, or propeller pylons, and yeah, that looks deadly. If you have a slight jolt or something whilst you're driving around, I can imagine my free trial character would be turned into puree, quite honestly. But it's pretty cool, isn't it? And obviously there are slight differences with the height and size of your character. But yeah, so either side and then on the back. And just a nice little look at when the lights come on, when it gets dark in the game, that luminosity coming off of the engines definitely looks very, very cool in the dark. I'm glad I waited for the night to come out. Night always seems to last longer than day anyway in this game. I don't know what it is, especially when it comes to recording, but that looks absolutely exceptional, doesn't it? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But I really like this design. It's old school, but also kind of a nice twist on it. But yeah, it's going to be great to ferry my friends around inside the content when they're all online and go and do the new field instance together. It's very cool, and it's going to be helpful to ferry people around. And yeah, the four-player mounts are always cool, especially when they're obtained outside of the cash shop. So that's something a lot of people also bring up when we when we talk about large scale 4-player mounts, is accessibility, and I think that's quite accessible. Also, just as a little tidbit, in the 10 hours I streamed, this is all of the fragments of Demi Atma I actually got. Just as a preface, just in case you wondered how hard it is to get your relic weapon done. So yeah, 7 or 8 hours is nothing, is it? Let's be honest. In terms of mount music then, it is of course the Occult Crescent music. And I have to say, a lot of the music in the new content is absolutely awesome. Big fan. Big fan. I think they've done a fantastic job. Also, whatever the piano theme is when you first zone in to the main hub, I need that as an orchestrion roll, so that's going to be cool to collect. Yeah, I'm super happy with this one. There's not really much to dislike about it. I can't find any major faults with it. It's cool to look at, and it's a nice reward from spending time in the actual content. So anyway, more videos on the way as we unlock more bits and pieces. There's quite a few things I've got from lockboxes so far myself, but there's an awful lot of things that I need to go and grind silver and gold currency for, and yeah, I'm enjoying streaming it. So if you want to come by one of the streams on either YouTube or Twitch, I should be streaming later today as well. Much love, and I will see you all next time. Bye-bye. Oh, this is so cool. So cool. Meow.